You've used the word anxious a couple of times to describe these performances. Is that a concern for you, given what some of these players have achieved over the last 18 months or so, or is that just the circumstances that you're in just now, a new coach coming in, etc.?
I think probably I have to term it a little bit better. What I mean by it is probably forcing things a little bit. And obviously I think they realise the situation they are in terms of a change of manager, because things have not been going well, and we hadn't been on a good run coming out of the World Cup break, and we only had that game against Bayer Leverkusen, so I could feel it. Obviously, when things go against you in the game, we're not dealing with that very well. Having said that, we've come back from 2-2-1s to win the game. So I know I've used the term, but to be fair to the players, I think they just need a little bit of time and a little bit of rhythm, and that will disappear.
You've also been in a couple of weeks now. Is there maybe a particular skill set that you think is maybe missing from the team just now, that maybe an injured player could bring, or signings in January?
I think just the rhythm. You know, it's clear that we haven't had centre-backs, we haven't had a stable back four. We've managed to win 2 very, very important games without it, which shows a different side in terms of their mentality and possibly a strength of the squad that's probably being overlooked because the performance has not been perfect, but the results have been. I think if there'd have been 2-2-0s, you'd have only still got 6 points. So the reality is we've played 2 games against 2 of the tougher opponents, and we've come out with the results, which is the most important thing right now. I think looking ahead, if you're looking for a soundbite there, mate, in terms of what I'm looking for in January, what I want is everybody to be fit, and if that's not going to be until the start of Feb, I think that'll be the moment that I can assess the squad, whose contract should be renewed, who should stay, and what areas I think we need to improve in. There's 1 or 2, but I would prefer to keep that in-house at the moment.
When it comes to defensive displays, would you just expect that they'll get better when you have the right players back and up to speed?
Yeah, I think clarity gives you a peace of mind, and then the peace of mind enables you to perform. And I think in the last couple of games, it's been more sloppy turnovers that have hurt us. We have let in 4 goals, 2 of those being set plays, and I thought Leighton Clarkson's goal was a particularly good one. So there's a couple of areas we just need to eradicate. We've had a lot of the ball in the last 2 games, and we've scored 6 goals, so there's a positive on that side.
James Tavernier, there were some suggestions that he's maybe not been feeling 100%, maybe travelled separately. Is that something he's been having to play through over the past week or so? Yeah, I don't want to use anything as excuses, but obviously in the last week Tav's been off twice. He did travel on his own. He was a big doubt for the game, and probably in his performance you saw parts of that. He seems fine now. Obviously Connor's first game. With Ben's coming back, but he's had some issues coming back, so that's why, you know, Connor's been clean in his rehab. That's why he was able to play. Glenn Kamara probably should have had an operation in the last couple of months, but has played through it. So there's lots of little things. Alfredo, what you won't know is he had to come in from training the day before the game as well and played probably when he shouldn't have done. But I want to take all the excuses aside. They're paid really well, these boys, and they play for a really big football club, and they're living their dream. So if they're fit, they go out there and play. If we let everyone that had a niggle or a little bit of a sore throat or a runny nose not play, we'd struggle to put out an 11 at the moment. So that's the situation we're in. That's why I would never question the mentality of the group, especially in getting the 2 results, because some people have played when maybe if everyone's available they wouldn't have. Is Glenn's issue something that may need to be addressed in the future, or is that resolved now?
It's manageable, but when he plays it swells up, so we've got to be careful the type of training. We've obviously had the frozen ground at the moment, so after he trains there's a reaction. In the games there's a reaction. We're managing Ryan Jack's minutes. John Lundstram took an injection to be on the bench on Tuesday night. So they're all the things that when you come in, it's like a Pandora's box that you wasn't expecting, but so far so good.
Can I ask you just to clarify, you said that you might not be able to assess the squad when everyone's back fit, and that might not be until February. How does that fit in with what you're able to do in January in terms of maybe bringing in additions to the squad?
Well, the thing is, there's 1 or 2 areas I think we wanted to strengthen anyway, which is the discussions will lead around. But I think what Rangers Football Club have on paper as a squad and what we are using at the moment is 2 different things. I think everyone's clear we've got, just in the attacking positions, if you don't have Kamar Roof, Yanis Hadji and Tom Lawrence, that's going to bring a lot to the squad. If you don't have Goldson, Suter, Hollander, Davis, that's going to bring a lot to the squad as well. Borna Barisic will be back in the next few days. So again, naturally that that kicks you on as a group. So I think we have 10 or 11 players unavailable. So therefore the competition for places is not as strong. The heat that puts on the person that's got the shirt is maybe not as hot. And all those things that add competition to a squad. I think we've used the bench and the squad quite well. The 4 subs the other night certainly come on and made a big impact, and they're chomping at the bit, and we'll see some changes again tomorrow, because I'm trying to create that competition that I think makes a strong team.
So I was going to say, the competition you're trying to create, though, you maybe just can't quite create that yet because of the injuries. So in terms of where you're at and knowing your squad, do you feel that you're kind of behind the curve on that a little bit through no fault of your own, just with the
I just think that's reality. I think Gio lived in that in his last few weeks, and I certainly am living in that right now. It's not an excuse. We've got more than enough. When you see the 11 that we'll pick tomorrow, it's a strong team. It should go to Ross County and perform. Should go to Ross County and have a big chance of winning the game. And that was certainly the case with Aberdeen and certainly the case with Hibs. Are we the strongest we can be right now? I think the reality tells you with the players missing that you would like them back, and I think that adds competition. We train more than we play. We train 3 times a week to play once. So the training levels, I always say, if you're a good team, your training game should prepare you more than the challenges that you face at the weekend, and that was certainly the case last time I was here.
Can I ask you about Alex Lowry and where he is in a pecking order at the moment?
He's close. I think there's areas of his game that I think are outstanding for a young player, and there's areas of his game I'd like to see him improve. I think I have to pick and choose the right moments, and when he goes in, I'm expecting him to go in and stay in and be at this club for a long term, be one of the leaders moving forward. If you're looking at one area that I have loads of experience, because everyone talks about experience, that is the area that I'm skilled in, and I think Alex is not too far away. What he must do is the teammates will pick him. So when he comes to see me, when he will from time to time and say, Gaffer, when I'm going to get a chance, well, would your teammates pick you? So it's a big thing that for a young player. When they train every day, they have to earn the right off their teammates as well. And I think at the moment he is really heading in the right direction. He hasn't played much this season under the previous management team, but for me, he is the future of Rangers. So as time, when the group settles, you'll see more of Alex Lowry, but only if he deserves it. And the place that he's got to deserve it is every day in training.
You spoke to him about that and his understanding of where he is at the moment.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
Michael, in terms of Alfredo, are you looking for more from him in terms of improvement of his fitness as well as his performances?
Yeah, of course. I think when Alfredo is at it, there's not a lot of difference in the way that he looks on the eyes. You know, he's a certain physical shape. He always has been that. I'll remind everyone when he was scoring goals that were beating Porto and teams like that, he looked how he looks. That's him. I just think Alfredo's been out of rhythm because he had a long-term injury, quite a serious one at the back end of last season that trailed into this season. He's been in and out of the team, it's fair to say, and at the moment he's probably playing when he's one of the players who are playing through the pain barrier for the team. So I'm never going to question in terms of his mentality when he's here, because there's a lot of things that maybe you can question that young boy for, and he has been questioned for, but it's certainly not the commitment when I see him day in, day out. So in terms of is he in tune? Is he here fully? Is he training well? Is he trying to play to the maximum he can play at the moment? I think he is. Whether he's in form or not, that's for everybody else's opinion.
Is he also carrying a specific injury then?
Yeah.
Are you able to share that with us?
No.
Okay. But is that something you think you can just manage?
I've got to manage it because if everybody came out, we wouldn't have enough to play. And at the moment, the results are important for the football club. It's a busy schedule, so we've all got to just bite down the gum shield and go. But he's someone that he came in from training the day before the Aberdeen game, and if it was somebody else, he wouldn't have played.
Okay.
Will Antonio Cholak be back for tomorrow?
No.
Can you tell us what's up then?
He's had a slight calf problem and he's not ready. We thought he would be, but he's not ready. We'll be ready for the 28th. And hopefully, if everything goes to plan, so will Kamar Roof.
We've seen quite a few teams chop and change players amidst this busy schedule. Doesn't seem like you're going to be able to do that, Michael. How tough is that? You maybe can't rotate the team as much as you'd like.
Yeah, there'll be 5 changes tomorrow.
Will tell us who they are?
No.
Will Connor be able to play back-to-back games?
Yeah, I think so. It's important we don't take a risk. We have Leon, who was sick for a few days, and so he's back available. Obviously, James has been playing, but Ben's now ready to play, and we'll assess. I think we played the game yesterday. It was just about recovering from the travel. Today we've done barely enough just to get them breathing and come back in. And we've got quite a long time till tomorrow night's game. We're aware that it's the second away game in 3 days. It's there to challenge us, but we're looking forward to it. So I think the feel-good feeling of scoring so late in the game and winning the game the other night, the adrenaline will get us through the next game. But we're certainly looking forward to it.
Is Ben Davies fit for tomorrow? So did you say
Yeah.
And are you able to clarify Barisic? When is he back? And were you concerned this morning when you read, maybe you didn't read the reports that he's feeling exhausted mentally and physically after the World Cup?
Listen, I think we can look at that in two ways, because obviously he only played in the one game, but he has been training non-stop for that period as well. There's a big burden when you play for your country and you're travelling. The emotion inside that camp of getting to a semi-final and losing. So I think you've got to put that all in. I wanted to give him a few days afterwards because there was a couple of things back home, commitments for the whole squad that they had to go to. He had a commitment with the full national team, and then he had a commitment in his hometown as well, and it's important I don't take that away from him. He's an expectant father as well. His fiancée is expecting, so there's a lot of things in the background. So we're going to give him a couple of days. We'll be back here Boxing Day and be ready to play on Motherwell on the 28th, if selected, because there's a young Scottish fullback doing quite well at the moment in our team. So let's not kick him out the team before he deserves to lose his shirt.
Last one, Roman.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Michael, is Scott Arfield obviously came up trumps the other night. Is he a player that you'd like to see here beyond his current deal?
Well, Scotty firstly is a player that will probably come back to Rangers, I would say, in the future anyway, because I think Scott Arfield's sort of someone that in his second career, whether he goes down the coaching route or something like that, he's someone we'd always want to keep close to the club, because firstly he's an outstanding person. I'm sure you have met him when you've had a chance to interview him. Super optimistic, got that lovely bright face and everything about him, super positive. So Scotty's someone I loved working with before. He's been frustrated. He took the frustration out in the right way the other day. Could have scored 4. I think if we hadn't won the game, we'd be sitting here saying, oh, that miss from Alfredo first half, those 2 big misses from Scotty. So listen, he's chomping at the bit to go. He knows I trust him. He knows I trust him, and he knows that in this building right now, he's super important to me and the rest of the squad. What will happen in the future? Let's see. I think just to sort of draw a line under the thing with the contracts is form's going to play a big part. Health and form's going to play a big part in the decisions we make between now and the end of the season, and also what we can do in the market and who's available. Money's one thing, players' availability is another, and also I want to see what happens when Tom Lawrence and Hadji and Ruth are fit. Can they stay consistently fit? What difference does that make to our squad in the attacking positions and the midfield positions? And then I'll see what's out there. I think at the moment, having come into the job, the games are coming thick and fast. The fixture list is quite exciting. But obviously for me, it's also challenging. So let's get through tomorrow and then we can enjoy our turkey and enjoy Christmas Day.
So are you that direct with your players that you may say, listen, if you want to be here beyond whenever, you need to show it on the pitch?
Yeah, if you said to me, would you like a player 6 years in contract or 6 months in contract, I prefer the 6-month one. They tend not to be injured, they tend to be really focused, and they tend to be at the best of their abilities. I've said that for young boys coming through in academy, to being a first team assistant, to now being a manager. When a player's got something to prove and he's got there, I like players in that moment. I think, it's a team game, but certainly you try to fuel the individuals, and a change of manager means that the conversations that maybe were on the table are different now, because it's a difference of opinions, a different eyes. It's a new set of staff. It's not just my eyes. And also, we have 50,000+ every week that make a judgment as well, and I think they want to see certain things. So I think for me as a manager coming in, I've got to prove my worth, and there's a good few players in our squad who've got to do the same.
Good afternoon, Michael, and Alan's went for a last step the goals that you lost on Tuesday night. I just wondered if you're happy with the keepers you have in the squad, or is there an area of the pitch you might look to strengthen next month?
Won't be strengthening the goalkeeper position next month. When the ball goes in the goal, everyone looks at the goalkeeper, but for mistaken, Alan McGregor saved this club time and time again. Made a big save last week against Hibs that kept the score where we needed it, got us to half-time. I thought the second strike from Leighton Clarkson was an excellent goal. The first one, well, he's gone the goalie's side, but the goalie's obviously moved. And no issue with Alan. John McLaughlin at the start of the season did very well, makes a mistake in a high-profile game, but I trust him. And Robbie, moving forward, he knows I've got a lot of faith in him. You know, in the last month before leaving here, he played away at Alishkert and he played at home against Celtic and was excellent in both games. Believe man of the match in probably both games. So I think we're in a healthy place, but I do get it when the ball goes in, everyone looks at the goalkeeper.
Speaking of Robbie, sorry, would you like to see him maybe extend it and loan for the second half of the season, get some game time, or are you quite happy having just the sort of backup at this moment in time?
A little bit of both. I want massive competition in the building. We'll get a break after this New Year period where we'll have more training. It'll open out for 10 days or so, and I'm hoping to pitch people against each other. What I've tried to do in quite an unstable time in terms of the back four is try to keep the players that I know in the team quite stable. So I would say in some positions there's been a fair chance to fight for the jersey. In others I've just wanted to go with what I know just for the minute, just to get through the fixture list. So yeah, it's not an area that I'll look to strengthen because I don't feel that we need to right now.
Hi Michael, good afternoon. I wanted to ask you a bit about Ronnie Tillman. I know we spoke about him a lot, but I thought that the other night in the last 20 minutes when Rangers really needed something, he began to find those pockets of space and was influential obviously in the winning goal. And I feel that was maybe because Scott Arfield was able to get close and move beyond things like that. Is that something that I don't know, is that something that's correct? Will you look to try and get players close to him that he can play around and play off so that he can flourish like that?
He's a bit of a hybrid player, Malik. So at Bayern Munich too, he played sometimes as a striker, sometimes as a number 10. I've used him more in midfield running on because I think he's an extra attacker that arrives in the box. Late in the game the other day, I had to do something just to completely scramble the game, scramble what Aberdeen were going to try to do. And obviously try to get a response out of my team because for 15, 20 minutes in the second half, I didn't recognise us. I thought when the goal went in, everyone started forcing it and we had loads of passing errors. So I just decided, right, I'm making 4 changes. And I thought the boys that came on helped. We played a little bit. We played with 4 people behind the striker and Scott and Malik were closer together. And I think in the goal, if Malik doesn't decide to try to outplay and create something, we draw that game. So I'm thankful to him for it, and that's the mentality that I want him to have. Same with Ryan Kent. I want them to go where they need to go to get the ball. I want them to have as much touches as possible and have the freedom to be the difference maker. I think tactically now, football, it sounds really easy really when everyone's moving around the tactic board. So what I try to do is have players that can scramble what the other team are doing defensively, and Malik and Raza and Scotty with his running can do that. So it's nice to have those options for sure.
And I was going to ask you as well, just about the winning goal, you were very calm. There's a picture of you in TV match just in discussion, and you're very calm about it all. I think that we looked at the history books, and that's never been done before for Rangers in terms of scoring in deep in injury time like that, and then a winner so late on. Can you give us a wee bit of insight to your thoughts at that moment in time? I'm not saying was it surprised, but you didn't really react, you're very calm. Is that more about the actual overall performance and the actual moment? Can you give us a wee insight of your thoughts at that point?
I did enjoy the second half. I never saw it coming. I didn't see us playing in the way that we played in that 20 minutes. So probably had to do some things and say some things to people that I didn't want to say. That I had to go somewhere with them that probably I didn't really want to go. So I wouldn't say I was angry. I was just disappointed because for 10 or 15 minutes we played how we wanted to play, close together. We passed and run. We caught disruption. And we scored 2 goals. We started the game like that. We started the game just how we ended it. And we should have been 2-0 up with Alfredo. We created big chances with Scott Arfield. Malik played a fantastic reverse pass. We should score. There was another one, a volley in the box. The keeper saves and parries it. So for me, it was just the shake of the head, really, and the calmness was just why are we not playing this way? for longer periods in the game. But I get it. I've come back into a squad that's not the squad. It's not playing with the same rhythm the squad that I left. So it's going to take time. And even back then when we were beating teams like Porto, I was always nitpicking. When we won the league unbeaten, I remember having like a bit of a sore head for 2 months because we hadn't won more trophies. So we're searching for something as a coach and as a team that maybe is not always there. But I was just a little bit frustrated with the overall performance. Certainly not the mentality of the team to keep going. And you saw in the celebrations the outburst of emotion that they've got at the moment.